Hey guys, welcome back to Set the Standard,
Selden.
I'm your host Genelle, and this is
Dad.
We have a really cool topic today. We're both extremely passionate about this topic for several different reasons. I would say most people that I know want their bodies running and functioning at the most optimal, best they can be. And I'm not even talking about athletes and people that work out. Anybody. Health is wealth, right? And we want to feel our best. So I'm going to have my dad do the opening to this topic. We're going to talk mostly about fasting. And you're going to be like, oh, wow, that's such a heavy word. Fasting sounds crazy. I love food. Also, fasting, people have a lot of perception around it of being, why aren't you eating? Is that a mental problem, right? A lot of people that, quote, don't eat. I know growing up, that was scary to hear. There's a lot of benefits to taking a break from eating, and that's called fasting, and how to get your body back running at its optimal level. Would you like to start us off with how to get your body running at its highest potential? How would you start?
First, a disclaimer. We aren't doctors, and we're not, advocating that you run out and do this. In fact, I would encourage you. There's plenty of information out there about this. And more importantly, if you do have any type of health concerns, please speak with your doctor about this. I will tell you, though, that it is not a mainstream concept among medical doctors, generally speaking. So depending on what kind of physician you have as your main doctor, you may find these are the types of topics sometimes that could be controversial. And whether they should or shouldn't be is really where we try to bring these topics to varieties of people who are looking to, as Genelle said, optimize their health. And so something that came on my radar probably 30 some years ago was fasting. And at that time, I was healthy, but always, as we talk about health hacks and trying to become the healthier version of yourself, whether that's through dieting or certain foods you eat or exercise and so on, nutrition, supplementation, that kind of things. Fasting can be another item you should consider as one of those health hacks / optimization techniques. And so when we were talking casually last week on the phone, we got talking and what's going on? I said, well, I'm in the middle of a fast. All right. I was pretty close to ending it. She goes, oh, really? What was that? So I explained to her what I was doing and so forth. And so that led to saying, hey, how can we share this with others? And so the main idea is that it's an opportunity to rest your body from processing all of the foods we eat, the air we breathe, the things that come into our system that our body, if you think about what your body's doing as you're listening to this podcast, it's working to digest food that you ate. It's working at clearing out any bad things you breathed in. So trying to, quote, detox your body. The system, your body, has layers and layers of protection, from the hairs in your nose to the filtering system you have inside your body, your kidneys.
That's what it lives to do and digest.
When people talk about burning calories, when you're sitting still and you're burning calories, what's happening is it's your body, your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, all these, your gallbladder, were all designed to filter in your system. So like any plumbing that you have in your home or in your car or whatever, it can get tired out. It can get clogged. It can get...
well, and a thing I want to add to that is the first focus your body focuses on is digestion. So that's why fasting is so important, because as these filters are constantly, like your liver and your kidneys and your gallbladder and your lymphatic system, all of these things are continuously running. However, when you have food in your stomach, that is the first thing that your body puts most of its energy to focus on. That's why fasting, when my dad continues to get into the real kind of technical, more physical side of why it's beneficial, it's because there's no food in your gut. So then your body goes, oh, your body continuously wants to work to help you be the best it can be. It's constantly trying to be in homeostasis, which is a very stable, perfect level. Obviously, nothing is perfect, especially in a world with cars and toxins in the air. But when you don't have food to digest, your body can go, oh, I'm going to think of the other things I need to get done. It's kind of like those people that, for me personally, I can't think straight when I'm in a messy environment. So if I need to film a video or I need to sit down, do my works, if I am surrounded by garbage, my dishes are piled up, my bed's not made, and I haven't showered in a few days, it's really hard for me to focus on my work. So I need to clean up all those other things before I get my work done. Same thing with your body. Your body's like, well, there's food in your stomach and we got to get this moving before I can go and focus on other things. So I just wanted to add that piece in there because you're right. We have all these filtering systems that are constantly working, but they can't work at their optimal amount without, if there's food going on, it has to be digested. So,
well, and I think if you think of to that idea that your body, especially in digestive mode, is the reason your body has a system of digesting, and you could do a podcast just on that. It starts when you start chewing all the way down to when it goes into your stomach, and then as it moves through your small colon, then through your large colon. The idea is you're gleaning nutrients out of that to sustain your body,
yes,
hopefully in a healthy manner. Obviously, if you're eating French fries every day, all day, for day in and day out, you're going to have nutritional issues. You just can't get everything you need. So your body has a great way of regulating the food you consume, getting the nutrition, hopefully the right nutrition because you're consuming it, whether it's protein, fats, or carbs. And it regulates that through that process of digesting and then so on and so forth. And you have waste and on it goes. Well, that process, that cycle over and over, day in, day out, year after year after year, can be very taxing on your system. And
which causes it to mess up and or create cells that get all messed up.
So when we think about fasting, we do it for two main reasons. It's the physical that we already jumped into, and then there's a spiritual side we'll talk at the end. And so why you would want to fast is there's many benefits for fasting. One of them is weight loss. It's a great way to start the process of weight loss, and I shared with you how much weight I'd lost. And then it also goes into the regulation of your body. It kind of resets the timing of your system. Autophagy is a big one, which is the cleaning of older and dead cells out of your system with new ones. It's a beautiful process. Look that up. Most people don't even
chat GBT it.
But it's a beautiful thing that was how we were designed, and it really does do some great things for you. And so this is going to be just an overview today, but it sort of is from a physical standpoint, and I would even say this part is physical and mental, is that the overcoming of the power of food and hunger.
Well, wait, I feel like first you should cover the physical things. We'll dive into the physical benefits, the mental benefits, maybe who should avoid it, foods and things or things you can drink to help promote detox during fasting, and then the spiritual side of it. And we'll dive into that. So let's get into physical. Dad, you had a lot of really good.
Well, it's improved health because during the fast, your body is cleaning itself out. And essentially, it's like if anyone has not a microwave, but a coffee machine, and you have to descale it, you have to descale and you do things to clean it. It's kind of what you're doing is you're descaling your body, the internal aspects of it, your organs. We are so gifted in the way we're designed and how our body can regenerate itself. And so when you fast, you're helping that regeneration. It can help with inflammation.
It's a good one.
Whether it's joints or just overall body. Say you're the type of person where you have stomach issues or colon issues, diuretic issues, things of that nature. The body is so awesome in how it repairs itself. And so when Genelle made a comment about how when you eat and you spend all this time digesting your food, well, when you're in a fast, because you're not spending all your energy digesting your food, your body works and repairs other things. It regenerates itself in so many different ways. And so I personally have experienced this where I've had joint inflammation or something like that was one of the reasons I recently fasted. And I could tell over, a couple days, we're going to get into the amount of how long you should fast for, but I could feel things beginning to happen.
It's almost
like again, the pros we're really talking about here. I feel like, just like in some of our other podcasts, when we talk about these innate drives we have as humans, eating is one of them. And the beauty
more
is
so than a lot of the drives.
well, we've talked about the sexual drives and how that
Yes.
creates problems. Well, food creates a ton of problems in terms of you look at our society, obesity is higher than it's ever done. It's because food is so accessible that if you don't have control over it, it'll have control over you. And so one of the things that begins to happen, certainly the early I'll even say the first day and a half of a fast, is the mind. You smell food. If you have food in your house, TV ads, your phone, and it's a struggle mentally. But once you get power over that, and it happens, you will, it's such a cool thing because you have a new respect.
You feel like Superman. I feel like when I accomplish something that's so mind consuming and you kind of beat that out and then you come up on top. Now my dad has done longer fasts and we'll get into the different types and how long you should. So we'll take a second for that. But I've only done 24 hours and I cannot wait to have dinner. I cannot wait to eat.
Well,
so I would say too, it allows you to have more energy throughout your day. And so many people might say, wow, I might feel drained. I might feel like I'm going to get dizzy or pass out. And as long as you're drinking water and adding a little bit of salt and definitely having some
hot lemon water.
Always salt, because when you're just drinking a bunch of plain water, you are dehydrating yourself because it is just flushing everything out. If you get some salt in there, it can stick, fill up the cells. The salt can poke the cells and then it puts the water into the cells. That's why drinking salt water is so good for you, because your cells then can absorb the water. Physical benefits too. It like I said, it heightens your clarity.
I was just going to say mental energy.
And that will tie into our spiritual later. I have a comment for that.
Well,
but
actually,
continue on.
Well, that's actually a physical aspect, is that neurologically there's benefits. That seems kind of weird. You say, well, how could that be? I'm going to be hungry and tired and so forth. It's remember, your body moves into the physical aspects of energy comes from what you eat. And your initial stored glycogen that you get when you eat food is what gives you energy. When you stop eating, your body eventually goes into ketosis.
Right.
And that's where you tap into fat stores, which fat calories are big calories. There's a lot of energy in fat stores.
Lots.
Who doesn't want to burn up fat stores? I do. So
I don't.
Well, and that's a great point.
No.
But for someone like me, to drop some weight and burn some fat is a great thing. And that's kind of what was some of my motivation.
Well, and I think this will be cool for both of us to talk about too. You do fasting for different reasons, and I do fasting for different reasons, because anyone who knows me in person, do I need to do fasting to lose weight? Fasting physically also just isn't for losing weight. I think a lot of people think, oh, you don't eat, you're going to drop weight. And although that can be true, when you are just doing 3 days, which is I participate in 24-hour, and we'll get into reasons why I do that and versus what you do it for. I do it for high function, spiritual, and mental clarity. So just know that also, if you do see someone who's more slender, well built, and you're like, you don't need to starve yourself for 24 hours. A lot of the times people are doing it for if they're spiritual or
and the detox still exists.
The detox.
Yeah.
So anyways,
the autophagy is good for anyone if you're already underweight.
And I'm not promoting this. I'm not talking about fasting to lose weight. And I just wanted to make that super clear, because
that's right.
I've actually never fasted to lose any weight at all. It's literally been so I can gain mental clarity, have more energy, or detox because I am sick or had got over something.
Yep.
So we can get into the cons of.
Well, obviously, fatigue can be a real thing for someone who's, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, and again, I'll state it, we're not doctors, but if you're diabetic or you have hypoglycemia, it could be, you definitely want to talk to your doctor.
Be careful.
Excuse me, you can feel fatigue, you can feel irritable, you get a little cranky. And this is why timing of when you do something like this is really critical. I picked probably not the best time of the year in this particular state to be fasting, because when it's cold and not real sunny out, if you're stuck in the house, you may have a tendency to.
But at least you can slug around.
And so it again, but the discipline that it takes, whether it's a sunny day or not a sunny, it's hot out or not out, it's still the same. You want to be. So that those are the things that there's many cons to it. And we could spend a lot of time on those, but those are the big ones, right? The fatigue, possibly the irritability, if you do have other maybe comorbidities or health concerns, you might exacerbate those. So again, that's why we're very cautious on and emphasizing that you need to make sure you're educated on this and that you're talking to your primary care physician if need be.
And any ladies, during menstrual cycles, it's not healthy to do at all. You can definitely hurt yourself.
One other thing for the men out there, but women too, is you can lose muscle. And here's why.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Your body is cannibalistic in the way it's designed. In other words, your body, there's people, you can live months without food, right? Water.
I don't know if I could.
No, I'm just saying if you were thrown in a prison somewhere, you see oftentimes these people who are in captivity, they can survive a long time. With water, you die after 5-6 days, I think it is. But food, why? Because your body goes into starvation mode. Mm-hmm. So when you're without food, your body will start cannibalizing itself. So it'll use muscle, it'll use fat, it'll use anything it can to, and that's why when you see malnourished people, they're skin and bones, because it's literally the body just keeps. So that can happen. This is when we get into extended fasts, but it's something I would put out there as a con, just so I cover that.
Cool. So we also have types of fasting before we move on to other things. Mm-hmm. So the two main ones we've talked about is the intermittent fasting and long-term.
Intermittent is pretty buzzwordy these days in terms of your last meal at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then you don't eat until the next day, say at lunchtime, or you extend it to 6 o'clock that evening or the following day, which would be a, quote, 24-hour fast. There are benefits to that for sure, in terms of similar to what we've already discussed and what it can do for you. And then there's long term.
And what I was going to add to that is I used to do intermittent fasting, and I used to do 16 to 18 hours. And I did a little bit more research. And for the younger girls out there, when you're still maybe before, I think for women actually in general, it's not been known to be the best thing because of hormones and stuff like that women have in the morning. So what I have done instead of doing intermittent fasting every single day, how I was doing it, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I was intermittent fasting for 16 to 18 hours every single day. I found that my body, my figure, I even was kind of puffy in the face when I was doing that. I do 24-hour fast once a week. So I will do where I stop eating at 7 p.m. and then I won't have my next meal until 7 p.m. the next day. I do it once a week. I find way more benefits as a woman. Obviously, I'm not a man. I don't know, what men are, but I just have researched that women doing an 18-hour fast every single day is less beneficial than if maybe you just do a once a week 24-hour fast, or you choose to do a 3-day fast, than making it your lifestyle to fast every day. So that's just my 2 cents on the intermittent fasting.
Well, and the length of the fast, or how you approach, the fasting, it is going to definitely, there's different benefits for the type of fasting. There's different schemes on it too, in terms of once a month, and you do one short one every month. And then twice a year, you do a longer fast. And we get into longer fasts, we're talking past a day, obviously. 2 days, 3, 5, maybe 10, or even more, which is, we won't get into the real long ones today. But that's when they say that, and depending what you read, that when you do 2 longer fasts per year, it sort of recalibrates the body. So the body, it kind of keeps you in this, it's like anything, whether it's exercise or nutrition. It's just one of those things you add into your health calendar, and you say, this is the best time for me in, first quarter of the year, maybe April, I'm going to do my lengthy fast, and then I'll do my second lengthy fast in October of the year. Okay. Or maybe for the holidays. Some people do things for different reasons. I had usually done them when I felt like I needed to. And I've kind of got out of that sync a little, other than the intermittent. I'm talking long term now. Were we good with the intermittent?
Yeah, I think we're good.
And I think that's become a
because you used to do it, and I
don't know that I got a lot out of it. I don't know if I always did it right. I know some people found it to be, eating at night is, if you stop eating, say you have your last meal at 6 o'clock at night, and then you don't eat until the next morning, that's usually a good little fast, if you will, giving your body a chance to just digest. Remember, you're sleeping, your heart rate, everything lowers down, so you're not as efficient. That's why some people then have their first meal mid-morning. So a longer
Long
fast.
term.
The one I recently did was around 5 days.
Oof.
And I did drink some water. I did have some juice during that.
Did you do bone broth?
I didn't, but my wife did. And actually, she waited. She didn't do it right away. She hardcore fast. And we were in a situation where we could not have to worry about going to work or doing any of that. Point that out as well. Walking is a great thing to do. It's low impact. It gets the body moving, the blood flowing. I was trying to overcome a flu-like thing going on, so I wanted all my energy to go into my body fighting that, so it was kind of timely against that as well. And so it was tremendous amounts of weight loss, which I have plenty of weight to give up, so that was okay. And I think it becomes, I would say it like this, the first day and a half, 2 days, your mind is working overtime, battling the idea of eating. I won't make any bones about it. I love to eat. I love food.
Me too.
And well, I think most people do.
Yes.
One of the things in life, just like sex and other things, we all like to eat and do that. So I think it's one of those things, though, that you find yourself, and obviously I didn't take all the food out of the house and lock it in a vault somewhere.
It's self-control.
It's self-control. And it's if you're going places, I think I went and got gas. I smell, these gas stations have the hot dogs and pizza in them. All those smells, and they're designed to drive you out of your mind. Your mouth starts watering. But then what's cool is you get past that, and there's sort of an empowerment that happens to you when you overcome that desire. And I think this is one of those benefits that helps all of us, and that is we have control over food. It doesn't have control over us. And so the fact that you can get past that, what's cool too is your tongue starts clearing up, your taste buds get cleared up. It's really interesting.
It makes you superhuman.
You can get, just put this out there, you can get BO, because as your body's detoxing, you're actually going through these phases where your pores are opening up and so forth. Not anything like, I don't want to suggest you're going to smell like a pig pen or anything, but it is interesting. They actually say your cells will transform, your skin cells will do things. You'll actually, it's a thing that really is neat to learn about yourself. And it's kind of like hole plunging. A few episodes back, we talked about how that went. And my wife, she hated it. She was like, no way, I'll never do it again, and so forth. And whether the jury's out and whether it truly is legitimately helping people, there's probably someone listening that's going, oh, that's the best thing. And that may be fine. I've done it. But I think with fasting is really, it is kind of cool because that your body is repairing itself. And I've experienced that. And I've experienced feeling better, feeling joint pain and different things go away. And so I'm committed to it.
I would say with my fasting, I do it more for the detox thing. And so there's some foods that you can totally eat when you're fasting. So when I'm fasting, I like to do dandelion root tea. That's really great in the morning when you wake up, along with warm lemon water. I do a little tiny bit of salt. I know it sounds a little weird. Bone broth is super good. Even towards the end of the day, if you're starting to feel like I hate this, bone broth with a little bit of sea salt's really good. And if you're really dying, I do get either papaya or watermelon. Papaya has a great enzyme in it that helps you with digestion. So if you're still clearing things out from the day before and you're only doing a 24-hour fast, papaya is incredible. And then you can squeeze some lime on there. It's really good. I normally drizzle honey on it too when I'm not fasting, just if I want a good digestive enzyme to start my morning. Papaya is great for that, or watermelon with sea salt. So you can also put sea salt on your watermelon and eat that.
Some people they're okay having black coffee.
I do black. So I was going to say that. I do black coffee if I have a day of work.
I tried it one of the days. I had a little cup in the morning, and I maybe took 2 sips and it just didn't taste right. So I just went and go without it. Okay. But I think if you're a coffee drinker, might add this in there, and you go on a fast, you may feel some side effect because coffee does have its addictive nature to it. And so I did get I don't get headaches. I'm not a headache guy. And I did get a little bit of a headache. And I think it had probably to do that I wasn't drinking coffee.
So to sum that up, bone broth, some sea salt, any sort of warm water with lemon, dandelion root tea. obviously water with sea salt just to make sure you're getting your hydration, watermelon, and I think those are some great things to do.
And then again, other things to do is walk. You can take a bath with Epsom salts. That actually is good for detoxing skin and so forth. So these are just some.
It's kind of cool because it makes you feel like you're in a self-care moment too.
Amen.
And it kind of shows self-love for yourself. Also, the cool thing too, why I love to fast is, let's say something is consuming my mind. I'm not good at compartmentalizing things. So when I need clarity on a situation, let's say I'm dealing with a friendship or a family member, or I'm overwhelmed with financial stuff, right? We think about all those things. I also sometimes do a 24-hour fast to really think about it clearly. I don't have any food. I don't have any distractions. I completely go 24 hours without eating. And then I go back to that thought, back to that situation, and I think it through, and I incorporate prayer with it as well to help with that mental clarity. And you feel so much more powerful as a person, because when I'm full and I've just had a big meal and then I go to think about something, you're like, oh, but I'm sleepy, I'm tired, or I'm snuggly, or whatever it is. I think fasting is really, really good for that. So that gets into spiritual.
If you were to look in the Bible, the word fasting and fasted and fasting is in there, I don't know, 20 times or so.
Yeah.
And it's generally around, in conjunction with the word fasting, is prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes the purpose behind fasting, and certainly as it relates to what's in the Bible and spiritually, is that you're more focused. Instead of being so focused on food, you're focused on your spiritual walk. You're focused on your prayer. And again, this goes back to self-control. And so oftentimes people would go into a fasting and then a prayer session so that they could make sure they're focused on what they're praying about, they're showing their connection to God and so forth. So it was a big part. It's early on too, if you go to the early Old Testament. It has its effects to kind of, you alluded to the mental clarity side of things. Think about it. We wake up thinking about food. Generally.
Mine's coffee, but then food. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and then lunchtime.
Yeah.
Like, think about,
No,
it's
you're
like I
right.
was raised 3 square meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner. 6 o'clock, I'm ready to eat. Back
Right.
when I was a kid, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
that's how it was. And we sat down and we ate.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get snacks in my house. You were like,
No.
you ate dinner and that was it. So you were programmed.
Yes.
We're so programmed on the food thing. And like I said, everywhere you go, there's food. Gas stations. I mean, anywhere you go. So, and we can order DoorDash and have it delivered to our house. It's crazy. So the power over that, right? And then switching the energy or the focus from all the food I keep thinking about to my spiritual health is such an awesome thing, because it helps then minimize the hunger pains that you're having and focused on what you need to take care of spiritually. So I would say it's very valuable in that respect as well. And I would say that's primary to why we fast, although we made it secondary in this discussion, but I would put it right up there as one of the more important things. And there's plenty of information out there about how long-term fasting has helped people with severe illnesses. And again, read up on your own, look at
body repair.
Major health issues. And so that tells me we know the body is regenerating,
Right.
because we sit here as we age, right? Whether you're going from 22 to 23 or
That's
50
me.
to 51 or whatever it is, that regeneration process is happening. Eventually we lose the battle and die at some
Right.
point. But in terms of your ability to maximize your health, both physically and spiritually, fasting plays a role in that as you age and can help you.
Totally.
So that's where I'd
Totally.
put a bow on that baby.
That
was a big red bow.
And so that's our 2 cents on optimizing
Yeah.
your body. I feel like a lot of people don't implement fasting into their life unless they're athletes or they're training or they're really spiritual or it's within their religion. So I just think if you're just an everyday Joe and you just kind of want to try things out, you're experimental, you want to feel the best you can feel. Maybe you get sick often. A lot of people.
Well, think of it this way. Someone is maybe less apt to fast, but they'll take an injection of something to lose weight.
But that makes them fast because they don't eat.
Well, but think about the unnaturalness of that versus the natural aspect of you controlling
Well,
it.
do you know what's the lack there?
Discipline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
self-control.
Well, and listen, I don't mean to, we're not trying to pick
No,
on
because
anybody.
I've had a hard time having self-control at times with food.
Again, because it's everywhere. So
Yeah.
I think just this is an opening salvo on this. This would
Yeah.
just to give you something to think about. Read up about it. Like I said, if go see a regular doc, ask them about it. But there's so much information out there. This is a health hack in some ways. There's people that use this as a health hack. I know I do. And sometimes I just need it to just reset me. Here in Michigan, it's cold right now, and spring is hopefully closer than farther. But I start thinking about my summer and getting healthy and feeling good in my clothes and just being high energy and so forth. And so when I started thinking about it, I was like, this is a good time for me to do a fast.
That's how I feel too.
Could be for you too.
So definitely do your own research as well as take
Yes.
a few things of our experience into consideration. It's always been positive for us, and I've only seen benefits. It is hard. It's not an easy thing, especially
on.
even just 24 hours, but it challenges you. If you like to be challenged as a person, you know what? Food's everywhere. You can
If
eat.
you want to set your standard for
If you-
2025,
If you want to set the standard.
fasting could be part of your standard. Who knows?
So we want to thank you guys for watching always. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a like. Follow
up.
us on Spotify, and we're on Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere. You
We're
guys
everywhere.
can't escape us.
Look out.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.
See ya.
All right, pose for your picture. Let me get my hair. All right, you can turn yours off. Let me get my hair. All right, you can turn yours off.